Hello Pisces, welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. Please hit the like button, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. All right? If this is your first time here, maybe you can go pick up your tarot cards and come and we can read these cards together. Okay? It's going to be a general reading. Try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. Right? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this is a Six of Swords. Very balanced, very harmonious energy. This is the most perfect kind of mental energy we could hope for. But let's see how we're applying that this week, okay? I already like the looks of this. We're going to do our Dove and Serpent spread, and as I lay these cards out, I want to say that if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments, okay? Finishing up the Dove and Serpent spread here with the Path of the Serpent. Very interesting. We get a lot of fire energy. We start with some air, we've got some majors, some earth, then we go for a lot of fire and a little bit more air. I feel like it's a really auspicious set of cards here we have so far. Let's see what else it's going to tell us. Let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. This is one of my favorite decks, though I don't really use it that much. The card stock is still pretty stiff, I don't really take these out too often. So let's just do one random card. We're going to leave it right there. We're not going to look at it till the very end. And hopefully that will tie everything together, give us the confirmation that we need, and just kind of be the capstone on all of this. Okay? So we've got major, major, major earth. We've got some air. We've got fire, 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 and some air. So there's no water here. So the lack of water, we see a little bit of water with this Cancer card, this Chariot, right? Rules the sign of Cancer, and that's some water energy. So we do have a little bit of the water energy, which I think is very good. Very good, consolidated, ready to go water energy. We have it bottled, right? So that's good. Let's start with this 6. Because I feel like right now, the next 7 days, you're going to have such a clarity in your life. You're going to find that your thoughts are coming in like diamonds, like crystal spheres in your mind, right? It's going to be so well put together, so balanced, so beautiful, so smooth. Whatever you've been working on or struggling toward or trying to figure out, trying to put into practice. Because I feel like you have these plans, you've been trying to build something, you've been trying to create something, and there's been a little bit of a mental blockage, kind of like a writer's block, right? Maybe you're a writer, maybe not, maybe you're working on something else, you're building something perhaps. But it's something physical, it's something that you're trying to get from your spirit down into the physical manifested world of the elements. So you're trying to get your ideas down on paper. You're trying to get your ideas built into this architectural structure. Or you're trying to build an organization, a business, build the future, build a relationship. It's some building going on, some kind of manifestation that you're intending. But I feel like lately we've had a bit of a problem getting the plans to be kind of crystallized, right? To get our thoughts to flow smoothly, coherently, organized, balanced. Like I said, the 6 of Swords is the most perfect expression of our mental energy possible. So this week is really going to be the week for you to get your blueprints down, get your business plan written, get your organizational charts all worked out. Use your mind. Formulate everything that you can and get it expressed on paper or on your phone and your day planner or whatever it is. get all of that down, because I feel like this is a very kind of, a very, not rare, but an uncommon window of clarity for you. Not that you're scatterbrained or disorganized or anything, but it's like this week, you're getting such a clarity. It's almost like a spiritual experience. It's almost like the clouds just part. You're in the eye of the storm kind of thing. It's just peaceful and calm. Everything that you're planning and thinking and trying to figure out just comes so easily forth from your mind. So take advantage of these next few days, because I feel like then we're going to kind of descend back into the hustle and bustle and a little bit of the chaos, right? Which I think is kind of normal. And we do see a lot of this fire energy. I feel like things are moving fast, right? I feel like there's a lot of activity around you. So we have to take advantage of this clarity. Now, I think you're someone who already has this kind of very organized way of thinking. I think you're a planner. I think you are a scheduler. I think you like to have an itinerary. You like to have a step-by-step business plan or plan of action. I think you really like to understand your thoughts, really formulate your ideas, your philosophies before you take action, right? You're a bit of a scientist like that, you know? You have your theories, you like to test them, analyze them, break them down, really work them out in a very logical, coherent way before you kind of give them to the world, before you put them into action. Now, the path of the serpent is all action, baby, all action. But what we have over here is a little bit of planning. We're trying to get the structures, the initial, the foundations built, right? The initial support beams, that sort of thing. So the Six of Swords is going to be your best friend for the next few days. And in the recent past, we see this Queen of Discs, because I think that you have, I almost feel like you've built part of this. So it could be that you've written half the book, or you've built half the structure, or you have the foundations of the relationship there, or the business model, your idea is there. But we hit a stop, a speed bump, right? We hit a little bit of a sticky spot here. And we're trying to figure out how to finish this, right? How to, well, let me just go with the analogy here of the Queen of Pentacles and the Princess of Pentacles. So the Queen has established what they've taken it as far as they really could. But now we need this new birth of energy, of idea, of organization, of clarity, of planning, of a real knowledge and understanding of how we're going to do this step by step, right? So we need that final push to really give birth to this thing, the final manifestation of whatever this project, whatever this plan is. You know, I feel like now you're kind of, and I don't mean to be gross or too graphic or whatever, but it feels like you're kind of in labor now, you know, and we just need that final push to really get this thing out and start actually growing and building and doing this thing. Okay. Because I feel like this is still, it's just right there. It's still in the kind of potential stages. There's still this last few steps, perhaps. Okay. The last few nails, you've got them in your hand, you've got the hammer, you're just trying to figure out exactly where to put them. Where do these last few pieces, like when you build something, you order on the internet, you put something together, you're left with a few extra pieces and you're just, where do these things go? I feel like these Six Swords are those extra pieces, right? I feel like you're trying to get the last details. It's just, there's something that's not exactly perfect yet. But once you get all those last nails in there, or the screws, or those little locking nuts, right? Whatever those are called. Once you get all of those in place, then this thing will just activate. It'll power up and it'll start working. You'll hear it kind of booting up, the gears start to turn, and everything is running the way you want it to. So I feel like we have, that's kind of the progress that we've made with the Queen. And then this week, I think, we're trying to get that Princess to really manifest the final stages of this. Because now it's almost like we're sitting there and there's really nothing we can do right now. We don't have that Six of Swords. Now, this is the past, maybe the last week or so. We've been kind of racking our brain, or we've been sitting there just kind of staring at this thing like, what the hell do I do now? How do I finish this? Okay. And then comes that Princess and is just ready, is just right there on the verge of manifestation, and we get that clarity, we get that sunshine, that clear sky moment, and we know exactly what we're going to do. We know exactly how to do it. Okay. And now we're going to continue on the horizontal path here and go straight linear right into this Chariot card, this Cancer energy, this water energy. I feel like you've been suspending your emotions. It's almost like we've bottled our emotions and we've got them packed in the car because we're going to need them later. But right now, as we're doing this work, we don't need emotion. We don't need worry. We don't need to be upset. We don't need to tear our hair and rend our clothes. We need this focused, clear perception. So I feel like all of your emotions, you've kind of bottled them up. Now, the emotions are good ones too. Excitement, right? Eagerness. You're really in love with this. Whatever you're doing has a very important meaning for you. But you're trying not to get too excited. You're trying not to worry. You're trying not to just start bawling because we don't know where these extra parts are supposed to go. Trying to maintain a logical mind, focus, organized, clear perception. But all of these emotions, you've got them bottled up with you. So I think once this manifests, I think you're going to have to crack these bottles, right? I think you're going to have to open each one and just feel it. You're going to have to let these emotions out. And I feel like it's going to be just a whirlwind of feelings. Excitement, relief, frustration, sadness, joy, pleasure, everything all at once, right? I see you taking a bottle of water, cracking it, and just dumping it on yourself, bottle after bottle, until they're gone. Now, that's a waste of water. This is a metaphor, okay? We don't want to waste water. It's a precious resource. Metaphorically, emotionally speaking, all of these feelings are going to come flooding out, okay? And I think it's because there's been a lot of this tension. You've been trying to organize things and keep things so focused that, again, we've been bottling our emotions up for later because they're not useful right now in this horizontal plane of what we're doing. Going from the Queen to the Princess, using that clarity. Finally, we're getting a move on with things, and now it's like we've fixed the engine. Now we can actually start driving. Okay, so if you got this thing built, and now it can do the work it was intended to do. It's not like this is the end of the road, right? It's not like you're finished. It's not like now you can just kind of relax and watch a sports game on TV. I'm not really a sports person. I don't know. This is where the real fun begins. This is where the real work starts happening. And this is the Chariot card. This is motion. This is traveling. This is like you're ready now to go. You've got everything in place. We've got to deal with this water energy that's been pent up for a while. But now we're ready to really get a move on. Start the actual work. Okay. Now, interestingly, I see this Sun card and this Fool card at the top and the bottom, respectively, of the vertical axis of the path of the dove here. Now, the Fool energy is really wild because this is, I think this is a project that you started, some kind of, whatever work it is that you're doing. Again, I say work, I say project, I say building, but it doesn't have to be concrete. It could be a relationship, could be a business, could be a partnership, a community organization. It could be literally anything. You're building your creative projects, your music, books, whatever you're working on. I don't know. And that's where you come in. Leave me some comments. Let me know what these kinds of projects are for you. What is this thing that you're building that we have these extra parts for? right? What are we working on? I think it's going to be different for everybody. I think we're all going to have something a little bit different that we're trying to build. And sometimes manufacturers will put some extra screws in the box just in case you lose one. So we could be looking at all these extra parts, worried that we've left them out somewhere, that we've missed something. But really they're extra, we don't need them. What we have now is already a functional, I don't know, bookshelf or something. So consider that. Consider that this doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need more nails or more parts, more tinkering. Maybe everything is perfect the way it is, and this is, you just have to flip the switch. You have to deal with the water energy and start traveling. But I feel like the project that you're doing now is something that kind of took you off guard. It could be something that you didn't really plan on doing. This wasn't like your life's work or your dream since you were a kid. It could be something that just in a very weird, almost silly kind of way that you kind of stumbled into this and it caught you off guard. It really took you by surprise, this thing. And now you just love it. You couldn't imagine doing anything else. You know, you're almost thinking, God, why didn't I do something like this years ago? Right? It's giving you this real sense of a freedom of expression, kind of like your soul is just kind of free now. It's you don't feel. I mean, we're bound up in this earth and air energy, right? But your spirit feels just so carefree and curious that I think this is on the one hand, you've bottled up all of these kind of mixed emotions, these feelings, you know, that we're kind of dealing with as we try to figure this work out. But really deep down, you're just like, you're giddy almost. You know, I'm getting this sense of just kind of wild laughter, and you're just having such a fun time doing this, even though there's frustration and anger and sadness and joy and all of these things that we're bottling up for later. Essentially, you feel such a tremendous joy from this. And I think you're doing something that really is, down beneath the surface here, Sun card, 19th mystery of the tarot. I think you're doing something that really is an expression of your truest self. It's like you've found that thing in life that makes you feel like a kid again, right? Gives you this sense of wonder and of joy and of playfulness almost, you know? I'm picturing you down there trying to build this bookshelf, and you've just got the cardboard box and the packing popcorn and the wrapping, the plastic just all over the place, and you're just covered in it, and you're just having a wild time. And maybe that is because we've suspended all of these feelings for later, right? We're in this moment, we could get frustrated. We could get angry and smash the damn thing. We could cry and walk away and never return to finish building this. But since we're not doing that, we're staying focused on the clarity of mind. And the interesting thing with this, we've been talking about the clarity this week, where you're really going to see this thing in a very clear way. Well, that's what we have with the Fool and the Sun. This is a lot of clarity. The Fool is pure air energy. It is getting out there above the clouds, above the storm, and just floating and flying. And how would that feel if you could fly? If you could soar above the storm, above the clouds, just you with the sunshine, and you're just floating and flying around and playing and dancing in the sky. Like, it's that kind of a feeling that we're getting here. And with this experience comes this clarity of mind where you realize, oh, I don't need these extra parts. Or, oh, I know exactly where these need to go. Whatever the case may be. But this is a really intense feeling. And I like that these cards are above and below you on the path of the dove here, on the vertical axis, you know. Because I feel like this is really the way that we're creating this clarity, this very like eye of the storm kind of beautiful mind moment where you figure everything out, you know, and then we're able to move on. I think we should move on to the path of the serpent now, because this video is getting a little long. First thing we have is the Four of Wands. So this is you flipping the switch on this machine, and thank the Lord it works, right? It lights up, the wheels start moving, it starts beeping and honking and whistling. It's perfect, right? Exactly what you thought it would be. So whatever finishing touches, whatever these kind of last things that you had to do are or were, they've paid off, they've worked. Because now this thing is running. Now this machine is doing what it's supposed to do. Again, it could be you wrote a book, you made an album, you painted, you sculpted, you I don't know, you established some kind of organization or business or a group of people even. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but I get a sense of how it's feeling, right? And I think that's more important. I don't need to know the details, but I know the feeling. And I'm getting a very strong sense of this work for you. And now, like I said, now the real fun begins. Now the real journey, the real work happens now. And what we've got to do involves this Ten of Swords. Now that we have analyzed, we've gotten this scientific mind, this clarity, we have figured out what these extra parts are for, we put the finishing touches on, we have, we've executed all of this plan, we've followed our blueprint, everything's perfect now, right? We've used that mental energy, that beautiful mind moment. Okay, now we've got to move past that. We don't want to linger in this beautiful mind moment, because then I think we're going to devolve into overanalyzing, splitting hairs, picking things apart too much. We're going to start tinkering with it and break it. So we have to get past that tendency. I think it's going to be a natural tendency for you to now want to, we think now we've got this beautiful mind moment, maybe we can take it into every other aspect of our life and use it to fix everything, right? But it's almost like as soon as you leave the house, it's not this, it doesn't work anymore, right? So you're going to go around tinkering with everything. You don't know what you're doing. Everything's going to just kind of fall apart. So this is almost like a kind of a one-shot deal. And once we accomplish this on the path of the dove, we have to put away this impulse to overdo it, to overanalyze, to chisel away too much. Right now we're going around looking for all the extra parts we've ever collected and thinking we know where they go. It's not going to work out. So I think this is the realization that we've entered these lofty heights temporarily. The clouds have parted. We're in the air and the sunshine with this clear mind. It's a temporary thing. We're going to descend back down into the work, into the confusion, the chaos, the kind of normal state of life for all of us, right? None of us really know what we're doing. I think I'm exaggerating a little bit for a dramatic effect, but I think there's some truth there. I think we need to realize that we need to go back into reality and realize that we don't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. So this Ten of Swords is telling us to look past our own perfection, I guess, right? Look past our own beautiful mind moment and realize that there's still a lot of questions, still a lot of work that needs to be done. We don't have all the answers. Now the next card is the Two of Wands. This is your creative direction with this thing. This is you really taking ownership over what you're building, but now you're responsible for it, right? You've built this thing, now you have to kind of stay on top of it. You have to maintain it, oil it, make repairs. You have to give it direction and purpose. You have to make sure that it is functioning appropriately, right? It's not polluting the environment, it's not hurting anyone, it's doing its job efficiently, doing what it was designed to do. And this, I think, is a little bit of, this is the responsibility that maybe you weren't really looking for. It's cards in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. Maybe you didn't really think oh man, now that I have this, like maybe you like the building, you like the planning, you like the figuring out of it. You like the beautiful mind moment and doing that sort of thing. But now that you actually have to be the boss and lead this thing and take ownership of it and be responsible for it, that's a little bit of a challenge, perhaps. Like I said, the real work is starting now. This is where the real fun begins, right? What we see next is very cool. I like this. The Three of Wands to end everything. This, again, it's something that you never expected would be for you, right? I think that you've had such an open mind that you allowed this Fool and this Sun energy in to show you something that you never thought was for you. A certain path or type of relationship or business or the pursuit of something that you never would have guessed would be something that you feel so connected to, but you really do feel connected to it. And I think even once you get past this, I don't want to do the actual like leadership, I want to fix it and work on it and build it. I don't want to like run it and be in charge, I think once you get past that and you kind of embrace that a little bit, you're really going to feel a sense of satisfaction with this. Because this is the Two of Wands that we just talked about, plus an additional wand, plus this creativity. It's almost like now that you've built this thing and you're in charge of it, you've accepted the responsibility for it. Now it's almost like you have this magnetism that you're just attracting good ideas, right? You're just really attracting this spiritual, creative energy that I think is giving you this intense, I'm almost feeling like a pulsation of intense fire energy, right? Just kind of swelling with spirit. And what are you going to do with this now? So this is just one really big accomplishment, but there are so many more now that you're capable of. It's like you have an antenna on your head that just is receiving good ideas, receiving creative impulses, receiving inspiration. I want to look at that mystery card and see what that is. I feel like this is going to be something showing a creative project, endeavor, some sort of creation. Maybe an Empress energy. Maybe a Six of Discs or Pentacles. But I don't know. Let's find out what this is. The Death card. The Death card. The Death card in this deck is really beautiful. I really do like that. 13th Mystery of Tarot, the Lord of the Gate of Death. The Child of the Great Transformer. You are transforming your life. You are, it's almost like you are the transformer now. You know what I mean? Like I said, you have that kind of antenna that you're kind of just swelling with power and you're receiving these good ideas. Almost like you are, an electrical transformer. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I don't know much about these things. But I feel like you are transforming this energy. You're receiving this spiritual impulse, this inspiration, this creativity, this guidance, the spiritual fire, and you are transforming it into whatever these kinds of projects, whatever you're manifesting, right? You're able to take the idea and manifest it, which I think I said that at the very beginning of the reading. You're taking what you're receiving, that idea, you're putting it on paper, you're finishing the book, you are manifesting it, right? And I think this is going to be a continual thing for you. I don't think this is just one and done. I think you've got many more readings just like this waiting for you. And I think this Death card is very, very apt, because I feel like each time we go through this process, right, of receiving the impulse, the inspiration, the creative force and fire, and manifesting it, and it just keeps cycling around, right? It's almost like we're generating our own power. It's almost like this is a kind of Tesla coil. I'm kind of picturing it, I feel like it continually recycles itself, and you are just ascending and ascending and ascending through that. I just see this like recycling. It's just like circling back in on itself, perhaps this way, you know. I think we're going to cycle over to the extended reading. And if you want to stick around for that, please click on the link that's right up here. And you can have access to all of the extended readings. For all signs, for every reading that we do has an extended, and they'll all open up to you. Okay. Pisces, I want to thank you so much for letting me read for you today. This was your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot.